Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today's issue I would not quite call another lesson in insanity. So we have changed the global view just a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's not upside down as if completely insane. Today, I wanted to talk about the Biden administration announcement of the activation of the Individual Ready Reserve. Now, this is strange. It's odd. It's not done a lot. And usually you do other things before you do this, which even makes it more bizarre. So I'm going to read what has occurred. Breaking news. President Joe Biden informs Congress that he has authorized the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Homeland Security to order members of the Selected Reserve and Individual Ready Reserve to active duty without their consent. He added that this is in support of Operation Atlantic Resolve. It aims to enhance the United States presence and operations for United States European Command. The total mobilized members should not exceed 3,000, with a maximum of 450 from the Individual Ready Reserve. He wrote, in accordance with Section 12304, subsection F of Title 10, United States Code, I am providing notice that I have authorized the Secretary of Defense and Secretary of Homeland Security, with respect to the Coast Guard, when it is not operating as a service in the Department of the Navy, to order active duty members and units of the Selected Reserve and appropriately designed individually Ready Reserve members without consent of the member concerned pursuant to 1234 subsection A of Title 10 United States Code. Reserve mobilizations under this authorization are not to exceed 3,000 total members, blah, blah, blah. Copy of the executive order I have issued enclosed. Joseph R. Biden, Jr. So why is this a little strange? So if you look at the U.S. military, and you have to kind of understand how the U.S. Army operates, what the active duty elements are, what the National Guard is, and then you kind of understand what the Individual Ready Reserve is. So you've got the U.S. Army is comprised of active duty members. Right now, let's see, what's the end strength of the U.S. Army? So right now, it is setting at 463,083 active duty personnel. Okay? Then you have the National Guard. The National Guard is a part-time force. You call them weekend warriors. They belong to individual combat units that, again, they do about 1 weekend a month of training, and they are obligated to be recalled to an active duty unit. And we saw during the Iraq War that the United States called up many of these brigade sets, these National Guard brigade sets, and moved them to the theater of operations in Iraq. So the Army National Guard is about 327,000 personnel. Then you have the Army Reserve. Again, these are individuals that fully understand that they could be called up, and they are part of that Army Ready Reserve. And they also operate on a monthly call-up. Now you have the Individual Ready Reserve. So what happens? So when you're in the Army and you do a 2-year, 4-year, whatever commitment of active duty service, when you get out of the Army, you are then allocated to the individual Ready Reserve. You don't show up for training every month. You essentially do nothing. You would only be recalled if there was a really nasty war. Now that's what he's doing. He's recalling these individual Ready Reservists who have exited the service, who have exited the Army, and are not part of a military organization. So the National Guard, if you are an Army National Guards member, you are usually part of a brigade combat team, depending on what your military occupational specialty is. That's not what happens with the individual Ready Reserve. You are not allocated to a unit. And what normally happens is if you'll spend your entire time on individual Ready Reserve and essentially not even know it. You'll just fall off the books and that's it. That's kind of what happened to me. I think mine was around 6 years of individual Ready Reserve. But again, you were never informed of anything. Maybe from time to time a recruiter would reach out, hey, you want to join the National Guard? No, thank you. And that was it. But what's happening now is, for some reason, they are bringing some of these soldiers back. Now, why are they doing this? Well, it could be because of what's happening with recruitment. It's not being talked about a lot, but recruitment for especially the Army, to a lesser extent the Marine Corps, the Navy, is horrendous right now. A lot of U.S. Persons who are interested in joining the military can't join the military. They're too fat. They got serious psychological issues. And they can't join. They can't pass PT tests. They can't get through MEPS. It's really a bizarre time. They're really scraping the barrel right now trying to get people in the military. Offering massive recruitment bonuses, and it's not working. And part of that is this woke insanity that is happening in the Army. Patriotic men and women in the United States that come from southern U.S. states, Midwestern states, they don't want any part of what's happening. This indoctrination system now that the Biden administration has introduced in the military. Horrific. And the military tries to, well, now I won't say the military, the civilian leadership of the military denies it. Oh, it's not woke. That's not going on. Wink, wink, nod, nod. It's absolutely going on. The stuff that they're doing right now for U.S. military recruits, the indoctrination that's happening is batshit crazy. It is off the chart insanity. And you can see it right here in the United States. Go to a mall, go to any place, and look at these kids that are walking around comatose on their iPhones. They got blue hair. They're dressed, they're cross-dressing. They're on various types of medications, zonked out of their minds, fat, obese, and that's what we have. And that's why a lot of people don't want to join. Who the hell wants to have a purple-haired transvestite as your battle buddy? No one. But it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Does not cause a reduction in combat capability. Bullshit. Sorry. Yeah, it does. And that's what's happening. So I'm guessing there's some key positions, key MOS, military occupational specialties, that the Army's got to fill, and they've got to fill quickly. And the only way they can do it is grabbing people from the individual ready reserve. It's my best guess at this point. There's a skill set that they need, and they're not able to fill it through recruiting. Now, what that is, obviously, they're not saying. But that's what's happening. And I can tell you, again, the information that's coming out of the military is horrific. What this left-wing administration is doing. They are trying, before when we had left-leaning administrations, they kept their hands out of the military, and they also kept their hands out of law enforcement. Now, they have firmly grabbed law enforcement. They own it. Or they own a lot of it. Especially federal law enforcement. Now, they're reaching in and trying to grab the military. And it's not working. Military members are inherently conservative. They sit center-right. Nothing crazy, but they get a fat-ass, purple-haired shithead is not ready for military service, that thinks he's a girl. Anyway, that's where we're at. We'll see what happens. Have a good day.